Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're getting in some reading during the busy holiday season. Um, Today's book, the book I'm going to be reviewing today, is The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. This book came out about 10 years ago to much acclaim and was very popular. I first read it in either 2017 or 2018 for a book club read, and I this time wanted to read it on my own for fun, just because I wanted to see if I liked it, how well I liked it, just on my own. Because sometimes, I find that reading on your own is different than when you're reading in a book club, because then you can bounce ideas off. And if you're wondering, no, I have not. This has not been done the same day. This has been done a different day, and I just happen to be wearing the same shirt. Total coincidence. I didn't even check. But before I give you my rating and my thoughts, I'll read the blurb on the back, at least this part, and yeah, go from there. Travel writer Lo Blacklock's latest assignment is tantalizing. Write a story about the maiden voyage of the luxury cruise Aurora. The promise of clear skies, calm waters, and a small list of well-heeled guests awaits. How could she say no? On board, Lo, which is short for Laura, by the way, wakes up to something out of a nightmare. A sickening splash and a woman's body disappearing beneath the waves. But the passengers and crew remain accounted for, and nobody admits to having seen this woman on board. And so, the ship sails on as if nothing has happened. But who was the woman in cabin 10? And why will no one believe what Lo says? I gave this book a 4 on a second reading. Like I mentioned before, I had read this. I read this as a book club. I actually quite enjoyed it. There were some parts that were really, really intense and really gave me the heebie-jeebies and really just, just gave me the willies and started making me question things. Really quite a interesting concept, actually, and I'm curious what the woman in Suite 11 will be like. I've got a hold on that. I don't know when I'll get that or when I'll get to reading it. Hopefully I'll get to reading it relatively soon after I get it, just so I can compare the two. This isn't the first in the sorry about that, Lo Blacklock series. Even though they're written 10 years apart, I know it seems kind of strange. This was kind of kind of blew up about 10 years ago. I'm surprised it took her this long to write the second book, but apparently she's been writing other stuff. So I don't know why. Maybe she needed some time to get the idea together, and surprised it took as long as it took them to make a adaptation of this book into a movie. Now, I haven't seen the movie. I was planning on watching it this weekend when I'm recording this. Maybe I'll give you, if I get a chance to, I will, when I get a chance to, I'll record a review of the movie, even though primarily I'm book reviews. But I know some people won't watch it for certain reasons. I won't say whom I know, but I know there will be one person I know that will not watch it because for certain reasons. And I feel it's kind of stupid, but to each his own. Anyways, long story short, really liked this book. It was really well done. It was even on the second read, I had totally forgotten what had happened in the book. I knew about the disappearance and I knew that she somehow solved it, but I wasn't sure how. I also, there was a couple of things I forgot. But quite honestly, it's still the page turner it was, when I read it like 8 years ago. And I still quite enjoyed it. I think that time I gave it maybe a 4.5 out of 5. I'm not entirely certain. I could be wrong. So, I mean, I guess I could go and try and find out what I gave it. But in other words, really liked it. Really good book. I would recommend maybe, it's one of those books I don't think you need to buy. You can probably just borrow it from either a friend who's gotten a copy, or borrow it from the library. I'm not trying to sink her sales, but it's not something, probably after this time, I don't think I'll reread. Unless somebody in my group decides that we need to read this book. But right now it's having a moment again. I actually had to specifically ask for a paperback copy because you know how libraries are. You don't know what copy you're going to get until you get it. Unless you're in a book club, library book club, and then you tend to get a paper copy. So anyways, that was The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. Really good read. Probably a good read for, if you're on a trip. I wouldn't recommend it reading while you're on a cruise. I'd probably recommend it maybe if you're reading in a plane. It only took me about 6 or 7 hours to read. It's something that is, it's fairly light. It's a little spooky. There's a bit of a thriller and there's a bit of suspense. I think easily you can read this on a vacation and probably, I don't know, do with what you want. Maybe I wouldn't keep it. I had thought about buying it, but I'm glad I didn't. This will be going back to the library as soon as as soon as possible. It's overdue by a couple of weeks, and I know there's other people who want to read it. So that was, again, for the third or fourth time that I said it, that was The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. I will be back soon with a new video and a new review, and I look forward to talking to you. Bye for now.